Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining today. So it's going to be a kind of a mid-range, we'll call it, fitness yoga practice today. I've got a mat, I've got a couple of blocks, an eye pillow, and a blanket. Nothing really specific with any of them, but they're always good to have around if you'd like. Join me on your mat when you're ready. So, just settling into a reclined position here for a few moments, bringing the attention to the breathing. Perhaps using this as a moment or two to transition into today's practice. Releasing any thought really, but any stress or any ideas that were from before we came onto the mat, and just noticing what's here. Feeling the body, perhaps at this moment, feeling the body melt into the ground. Feeling the breath move smoothly through. Maybe taking note in this moment or two if there are any areas of the body that we're wanting to pay particular attention to. And at whatever point we're comfortable, maybe drawing the knees into our chest. Maybe rocking from side to side. Maybe releasing one leg, keeping one close, circling. Changing sides. Maybe drawing both knees in once again. Maybe releasing the knees, rolling the hips up and down if you'd like. Just moving in and out of bridge as it's comfortable. Maybe moving one vertebra at a time. Lifting and holding. And rolling things down as you're comfortable. Maybe lowering the knees right to left. Maybe a couple more, just shifting from one side to the other. Going back, maybe drawing the knees in, just whenever you're ready. So perhaps as we rock here, maybe we lift the head off the ground, kind of curling the body in a little bit more, maybe rocking back and forth, or maybe we'd like to rock in circles for a few moments. And as you're comfortable, maybe rolling to one side, coming up onto our hands and knees. So inhaling and exhaling as we flex and extend. Maybe pressing back. Extending the arms, getting a solid hold on the ground, drawing the shoulders forward over our hands, elbows staying close, lowering down, pulling through if you'd like, lifting back. So it's kind of building our low series right away here. Inhaling as we come forward, keeping the elbows close, lowering down, pulling through, and lifting back. One more time. So sinking into child's position, just releasing our body here for a few moments, feeling the breath, right? Feeling where it expands, feeling the effect that it has on the body as a whole. Maybe walking the arms to the right or the left if you'd like. Maybe going to the opposite side, taking whatever time you would like. And then when we're ready, coming back to the middle, extending out, coming forward into a modified plank, right? Leaving our knees on the ground. From there, rolling to one side, right? So we're just going to go right into a modified side plank, supporting our weight over one arm, right? Opening the chest. And when you're ready, coming back, both hands maybe finding the ground. Now, if you'd like to do the low section in the middle, if you want a little bit more upper body work, take a trip through. And then when you're ready, we'll come up for the opposite side. Side plank. Back. Low series, if you'd like. And then pressing back to downward dog if it is comfortable. Extending our hips, dropping our chest. Breathing in and breathing out. Gently walking our hands and feet closer together here as you're ready. Reversing the swan dive when you're ready. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling as we release them down. Rolling the shoulders out for a moment. Maybe looking to the right or the left. Maybe lifting one ear or the opposite. Inhaling as we sweep the arms overhead. Exhaling, maybe sitting back into chair. Inhaling as we lift, lifting the chest, lifting the arms. Exhaling as we sit down, shifting our weight back. Inhaling and exhaling. In and out. Inhaling. Exhaling, gently pouring forward. Reversing the swan dive as it's comfortable. Inhaling. Exhaling, maybe sitting. Inhaling. Exhaling. Just holding that forward bend if it's comfortable, extending the legs a little bit, softening the chest, relaxing the neck. Reversing when you're ready, exhaling, maybe sitting back, inhaling as we lift, releasing the arms, rolling the shoulders out. And then again, looking left and right, maybe one ear or the opposite. So when you're ready, stepping back into a comfortable warrior one. Lifting the ribs a little bit as we breathe in, exhaling, sinking the hips, maybe bringing the hands to our heart center. Lifting up when you're comfortable, squaring off, perhaps extending into pyramid, right? Think about turning that right hip toward the forward foot. For today, I'm going to use the block when I do pyramid, just letting my hands find something supportive, really, and then focusing. For me, today I'm really going to focus on turning that right hip toward my left foot, thinking about extending my body forward here, breathing in and breathing out. Pressing into both feet, lifting everything up. And I'm going to return to warrior one. So sinking in, finding that warrior one once again, maybe the hands at the heart center, maybe the arms coming overhead in some way. Staying relaxed through the chest, soft through the shoulders, and then dropping the hips just a little bit deeper. Maybe looking toward the hands or through the hands. Up as you're comfortable. Maybe coming back to the forward edge. Shaking our legs out a little bit. Perhaps turning from the hips, relaxing the arms. All right, so one trip through the full sun salutation here. Inhaling as we reach. Exhaling as we gently pour forward, taking a nice deep bend in the knees, planting the hands when you're comfortable. Maybe inhaling and extending, and then returning the hands to the ground before stepping back. keeping the elbows close as we lower down, pulling through and lifting back, pulling through the navel to bring us back into downward facing dog, reaching our heels toward the ground. Breathing in and breathing out. And perhaps walking our feet forward, reversing our swan dive, inhaling and exhaling, and lifting and releasing the arms. Right, rolling the shoulders out. Just as we return or kind of find this standing position, thinking about taking whatever tension is in the upper part of our body and letting it drain out through our fingers. Right, really, maybe even letting this idea of the draining feature kind of feel the draw downward, the melting idea, if that helps. All right, so let's step back on the other foot. So warrior one, front knee bent, back leg is extended. Maybe the hands come to our chest. Maybe we reach the arms overhead, whatever feels comfortable for you on this side. Try to take that idea of melting the shoulders, melting the upper body into this position, wherever it is. So again, whatever you do with the arms, if that helps facilitate that, that's kind of the idea. Breathing in and breathing out. Lifting when you're comfortable, and bringing things up so we find pyramid. So I am going to just position that block once again, but connecting with both legs, inhaling as we extend, exhaling, taking everything forward, maybe walking the hands down that leg, perhaps finding our block, breathing in and breathing out. Extending forward as we're comfortable, right? Just enjoying pyramid for a moment, thinking about turning that back hip toward the forward foot. Releasing when you're ready, maybe lifting things up and stepping, returning to warrior one, sorry. Sinking in into the hands. Lifting as we're comfortable, maybe stepping forward, shaking the legs out, maybe turning from our hips, relaxing the arms. Shaking. All right, let's find I'm sorry, we need to go through the sun salutation again on this side. Thought I'd forget. Inhaling as we come up, exhaling gently, pouring forward, taking whatever time we need, finding that forward bend, softening the neck and shoulders. Maybe coming up onto our fingertips here if it feels good to extend the legs and the body. Planting the hands, stepping back as you're comfortable, keeping the elbows close, lowering down, pulling through, lifting back. So find downward dog here. Dropping the chest, lifting the hips a bit, breathing in and breathing out. And stepping forward when you're comfortable, reversing, reversing the swan dive, maybe sitting down, lifting. And as we return to that standing position, I'm going to return to the idea of melting the shoulders, melting the upper body. Just taking whatever tension that we may have generated and letting it release out through the hands and fingers. And maybe stepping wide. If you'd like to work a little bit with the twists, you can take in a few moments for that. We're lifting, paralleling the feet then, and pouring forward when you'd like, right? So finding standing straddle position, just hanging into the middle here. Right, and by hanging, I actually mean, we might even just cradle the arms and just allow the body to hang forward. Reversing when you're comfortable. So let's turn on the left heel to find our way into Warrior Two. I'm going to extend the arms, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. So if you're able to, again, kind of have that melting sensation through the upper body, this would be ideal in our Warrior Two. But if you need to do something different with the arms, and that could be just let them go, to allow that to come into place, work with that. Usually with the Warrior Two, our focus is on the lower body and how we stand, how we align, right, which is all important. But think about what does this do to the upper part of our body, right? Trying to take the tension out of our neck and shoulders, maybe extending out through the fingers a little bit more. Everything up as you're comfortable. So straightening both legs, perhaps extending, right? So reaching over the left leg, cartwheeling in for triangle. So maybe for now, the left hand finds the left shin. Think about pulling the hip and shoulder back a bit. So I've gone ahead and dropped my right arm behind my back to, again, kind of take a little bit of the tension out of the upper body, right? To hold it there. There's not that there's a problem with holding it there, but for today I'm feeling like I want to release more of the tension in the upper body. So I'm just going to drop that arm, right? I'm not worried about the bind. I'm supporting lightly with my left hand, pulling the right shoulder back a little bit, and then just letting that right arm release, we'll say. I don't want to say rest. It's a release behind the body. Right? We're taking the tension and just releasing it. So when we're comfortable, maybe pressing both feet into the ground, lifting everything up, and perhaps sinking back into Warrior Two. Then let's take that and just extend back into Reverse Warrior. So I've taken the right arm and let it down. I've taken the left arm and extended that whole left side. Now we'll note though that I'm really trying not to apply pressure into the neck and the T-zone that some would call it, up into the trapezius and levator area. I'm going to reach long and let that reach come more from under the shoulder than above it. Exhale, let's kind of come back to the Warrior Two, and then we'll lift and we'll find the middle. So perhaps paralleling the feet, placing the hands on the hips, let's gently hinge forward. All right, so finding
standing straddle position here. Again, softening the neck.
Lifting as we're comfortable, and perhaps turning out on the right foot, sinking into warrior two, and whatever it takes to feel like we've been able to release the chest and shoulders here. You ready? Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, cartwheeling out, reaching long, maybe extending into triangle, or if you'd like to drop that top arm behind, rolling the shoulder back. Right hand is lightly supporting at the right shin. Lifting, paralleling the feet. I'm sorry, we need to go back into warrior two. Just half a step ahead of myself today. Sinking in, right, warrior two, and then reverse warrior. Lifting. Releasing the arms. Paralleling into the center. Lowering forward one more time.
So maybe positioning the feet wide enough that you're able to get your hands on the ground. And if the ground really isn't comfortable for whatever reason, go ahead and bring the block in and place the block. Maybe turning.
And moving into the other side when you're comfortable.
And releasing, returning to the middle, softening the upper body once again.
And reversing that forward bend. Back, maybe shaking them out. Turning, relaxing the arms. Maybe shaking the legs out a little bit. All right, so moving into the sun salutation once again. This time, I'm gonna go through it 2 times in a row, but just the basic flow, nothing out of the ordinary. Inhaling, exhaling, gently pouring forward, right, taking our time. Coming up onto our fingertips, planting the hands, stepping back, lowering down, pulling through, lifting back, stepping forward, reversing the swan dive, sinking down, lifting, gently pouring forward. We're going to go right into the second one here. Inhaling, planting the hands, gently stepping back, one and the other, lowering down, pulling through, lifting back, stepping forward, reversing the swan dive, sinking down, lifting, and releasing the arms. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold them right behind the back. Right, so for now, just hooking, catching the elbows, rolling the shoulders back a little bit, drawing the chin in just a touch, and then looking to the right and the left, looking up and looking down. Maybe pivoting on the nose and lifting one ear or the opposite. Releasing the arms, maybe shaking things out a bit. Perhaps turning from the hips, right? Just relaxing the arms. So let's bring our weight onto a single foot, lifting the opposite as far as what feels appropriate. Think about keeping our belt line parallel with the ground, rolling the shoulders back a bit. Maybe bringing that in and extending out to warrior 3 if it's at all comfortable, right? Flying over that forward leg, doing whatever works with the arms, maybe keeping them back, maybe extending them forward, or simply out to the sides perhaps. So just really find what works for your balance or your arms, shoulders for today. Right, so let's come back upright and we'll kind of take that into a modified dancer's position if you'd like, right? Pointing the knee toward the ground to start with, maybe lifting the opposite arm, or if you'd like to extend a little bit further. So working to think about keeping our hips fairly square to the ground. Gentle arch through the body, right? So we're not folding or hinging anywhere. Hopefully it's a nice long line. Releasing that position when you're comfortable. Maybe shaking the legs out, and then we'll prepare for the opposite side, right? So putting the weight, for me it's on the right leg this time, then lifting to whatever point is comfortable with that left, rolling the shoulders back, and maybe just standing in our whatever version of tree we've created. 3, whatever version of that we've been able to create. And maybe coming out, finding dancer's posture on this side. And maybe extending if you'd like. You can think about a nice smooth arch through the body and trying to square the hips. So the point is I'm not pitching open. I want to try and keep things pretty square. Oh, to the front. Wow. One more breath. Returning as you're comfortable, releasing as you're ready, maybe shaking things out. Good. So finding a standing position, whatever that happens to be, on 2 feet, right? However wide you choose to put them. Rolling the shoulders back for a moment, maybe looking upright, maybe placing the arms behind the body. We'll do a supported camel or a standing camel where we put the hands above the back pockets and then lift out of that support. Back when you're comfortable. Maybe turning from the midsection, just relaxing the arms. So if you'd like, I'm going to turn sideways so I've got a little bit more room. But rather than going straight to the low squat, I'm actually going to try and sink into the middle, hinging halfway forward, and then wrapping the arms around. Now you might get the hands on the feet. Maybe you just place them inside the ankles. So the idea is we're kind of pressing out on the knees, and we're lowering our body a little bit here. So this is essentially the happy baby pose inverted, right? So we've got a little bit more weight, kind of working our way down through the position. So a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, maybe lifting up or kind of coming out so we can lower our body down into the low squat or the garland if you'd like. So I'm working my feet a little bit closer, but the elbows in front of the legs, lifting, maybe wrapping the arms. I'm not going to get them together today, well, maybe, but I'm actually going to shift my focus here, and instead of trying to wrap, I'm going to lift. So that's actually feeling better. When you're ready, releasing back, so we find a seated position. Right, so I'm going to start our seated posture here with soles of the feet meeting, so we find a little butterfly. Maybe lifting the chest,
lifting one ear or the opposite. All right, good. So, good butterfly. Now, I'm wanting to use the long edge of the mat, but I'm going to turn. So I'm actually going to leave my right leg right where it is and send the left leg around behind. I'm finding my way into a pigeon. So my right leg is in front, my left leg behind. I'm thinking about rolling the left foot to the ground, so the little toe kind of finds its way to the floor. But I'm actually going to shift over just a touch more, bringing that left knee toward the right side. Then when you're ready, releasing this. So I'm going to sit out to the right, and then let's bring the left around in front. So we can maybe kind of return to the butterfly or a easy seated cross-leg type position, and then maybe sending the right leg behind. Same idea, right foot, kind of thinking about turning the little toe to the ground, maybe working that knee over to the left side a little bit. Releasing whenever you're comfortable, sitting out to the left, bring your legs around in front. So reaching out with both legs, right? So we find the long edge, sitting tall, using the arms maybe to lift the chest some. Maybe hinging forward. Thinking about lengthening the body as we come forward, finding comfort perhaps in this standing or seated straddle position. Upright when you're ready. Let's bring the legs in, maybe balancing for a moment. Find a boat if you'd like. And releasing, perhaps rolling back, bringing the knees in, maybe rocking from one side to the other. Maybe rolling through the hips, circling the knees a little bit if you'd like. All right, so we're gonna do a quick, well, comfortable. We'll do a little bit of an inversion. We'll plow and we'll do a bridge here before we close out our time. So if the plow is comfortable for you, maybe work through it. I'm placing a block over my head here for my feet to land on. I'm thinking for today, my body may not appreciate going all the way to the floor. So I'm just preparing. If my toes are comfortable at the block and I feel like going further, I'll push the block out of the way. But keep in mind that that inversions aren't necessarily for everybody. But move through it only if it's comfortable, and only to the point that it is comfortable. So, and I'm always going to keep my neck neutral here. We're looking at the ceiling, right? I'm not going to look to the left or the right because that's going to put kinks in things. So whenever you're ready, maybe drawing the legs in, maybe reaching up. Now, I'm going to support behind my hips or at the lower back with the hands. Now I'm trying not to put any weight in the back of my head. So the weight is really on the shoulders. There are ways to modify this, but we're not setting those up for now. But if you are comfortable, maybe looking towards your feet. Right, now maybe we stay here. Now there are other places you may choose to go with the legs and just remain inverted. If you'd like to find plow, maybe we just hinge, lowering our feet toward the ground. Continuing to breathe as much as you can. Lifting as you're ready. And then gently rolling back to the ground. Placing the soles of the feet on the floor. Pressing the hands into the thighs. And just kind of attempting to move the shoulders and the legs in opposite directions. Whenever you're ready, maybe lifting the hips. Right, so perhaps we find the half bridge here, or whatever, with our heels and our shoulders on the ground. Maybe we replace our shoulders with our hands, right? Think about pointing the elbows toward the ceiling and lifting up. Again, a nice smooth line here. It's not a hinge. Relaxing the neck and shoulders as much as possible. And lowering down. Whenever you're ready. Melting into the ground in whatever position feels most comfortable, most appropriate for today. Breathing in and breathing out. Continuing to breathe. melting the body down into the ground, softening the shoulders. Maybe another breath in this position. You know, were this an in-person class, perhaps we'd let this go on a bit longer. But at whatever point you're comfortable, maybe rolling to one side. Just take whatever time you'd like. So hopefully there's no hurry. We don't have to get home for anything where many of us are already there. Breathing in and breathing out. Maybe supporting here in the side lying position, remaining as long as it feels appropriate. Coming up into a comfortable seated position, whatever you'd like. And then we'll close out today's practice with 3 breaths. Right? The first breath honors the body for its work. Second breath honors the mind for its attention and really just being on the mat for now. And then that third breath honors the breath itself for its presence, its feedback, its pacing perhaps. It's the wisdom of the breath within the body. And as we're ready, taking a moment, saluting one another as we close out our practice together today. Namaste. Thank you for joining today. Until next time.